What can we learn from comparing human inventions with what has already existed in the nature? We will discuss 3 examples and see how nature played a part. For centuries, man dreamed of flying. However, a man does not have enough muscles to lift himself into the air. The brothers Wilbur and Orville Wright realized that the key challenge of flight was to build an airplane, a craft that could be controlled and balanced in the air. So Wilbur started to watch pigeons in the flight, and he noticed that they bank into a turn and keep their balance by twisting their wingtips. So in 1900, Orville built an aircraft with twistable wings. However, they were disappointed because the wings did not produce enough lift. So they built a wind tunnel and experimented with hundreds of wing shapes. Finally, on December 17, 1902, they managed a craft to be lifted in the air and into the sky, and thus it made them international celebrities. But how did they manage to themselves into the air? We know that nature played a significant part in it. Everything about birds seems to be designed for the flight. Their feathers support their entire body weight in the flight. So how can their wings to be so light yet to be so strong? The bird's feather resembles what engineers call a foam sandwich beam. It was a pithy interior and a rough exterior. Engineers studied feather shafts and beams and used them in building different aircrafts. Birds use their powerful heart also as an engine, and their heart beats faster and usually is a little bit larger than the same size mammals' heart. But how efficient is a bird's engine, or in other words, flight? When Boeing 747 takes off for a 10-hour flight, roughly a third of its weight is fuel. But when we take a bird named Godwit, takes off from Alaska and head into the New Zealand, over half its body weight is fat. It flies around 190 hours non-stop. We know that no commercial airplane can do that. But what about television? A Scotsman, John Baird, was first to demonstrate a television. His television camera used a disc that perforated by about 30 holes arranged in a spiral. As the disc spun, the holes scanned successive lines of the picture and allowed light to fall into a photoelectric cell. The cell itself produced a video signal, and that signal was transmitted to a receiver where the signal was amplified to illuminate different images and light. Thus, TV was born. Your eyes are like tiny television cameras. They convert images into electrical signals and transit those signals along the optic nerve into the back of your eye, where the actual scene takes place. And your eye has over 100 times more light-sensitive cells, or so-called pixels, than most video cameras. The visual cortex of your brain is like a sophisticated receiver. It sharpens images and also compares tiny dissimilarities between your two eyes so they can perceive distance. Isn't this entire process of seeing is amazing to us? Today, many people navigate themselves using a GPS. This device can show exact location, and it guides you where you need to go. So how does GPS work? The device depends on about 30 satellites that each broadcast the signals indicating their position, and the time of accuracy of this signal is about a few billionth of a second. Once your device has established contact with a few satellites, it accurately measures how long a signal takes to travel from a satellite to the receiver, to the device. With this information, your device can measure your exact position. The GPS was invented back in 1960s by Bradford Parkinson and Ivan Getting. But was it first automatic navigation device? The investigators took about 18 albatrosses by plane from a small island in the center of Pacific Ocean to a several location thousands miles away and released them. Within a few weeks, most of the birds returned home. For example, we take monarch butterflies in North America. They migrate more than 1,000 miles to a small area of Mexico. Even though they have never been to Mexico before, they find their way often to the same trees where their great-grandparents nested the previous year. Just how they did it, it still baffles or surprises the scientists. These examples are just a drop in the bucket of and show how deep and undeniable wisdom and intelligence we find in the nature. We as people must do our best to eradicate corruption and the greed and ignorance, the very ingredients that destroy our planet, and do everything we can to protect something that we strongly depend on. Thank you.